This is Scriber Lake Park. It's a park probably about 5 minute walk from my house. Um, it's well in the springtime, summertime, it's really green. Right now, obviously being winter, it's a bit more brownish, a bit more barren. Um, the state I live in is known for being wet. Uh, we get a lot of rain, not rain every day, but we get our fair share, and it keeps things just beautifully green, um, almost year round. This is a little park that's in the middle of the city, that has a small lake that the trail goes around, and it's even though it's right off of a major road, the once you get back into the park a little ways, like we're coming up on the bridge here, the first little bridge, you can't really hear any of the traffic anymore. You can see there it's been raining the past few days, so it's a bit more flooded than it should be. But it's a very peaceful, very tranquil little walk. Very few people use it, or at least very few people use it on cold days like it was today, or on rainy days. But it's a little break away from the hustle and bustle of the city. I try and make this walk at least every day. I'd love to say I do it every day, but that's just a lie. I'm not going to lie about this. I try to make it every day. It's a nice half hour jaunt around the park and then back to my house again. So I mean it's good little exercise going in. You can see where they've tried to clear away some of the brush so it doesn't grow over the path. Try not to get people in the picture because privacy purposes and all that. And like I said, being from a rainy state, a wet state, you can see the paths there. They tend to get a bit muddy. I try to stay on the concrete paths, but today I figured that I would take a walk around the entire lake and show you a little bit of the beauty. Now, again, it's in the middle of winter, so yeah, it's a bit more brown, a bit more dead than it normally is. I mean, this here is usually all green. You hear the birds singing and things like that. This is just one of the little outcroppings that looks out over what is Scriber Lake. Usually, you've got ducks out there. You'll see fish jumping and things like that. I mean, they're not big fish, but you can't go fishing there, obviously. But like I said, it's a nice little quiet sanctuary, away from the noise of the city, and it gives you a chance to really think. You can forget about what's going on just on the other side of those trees. There is the road. You can forget all about that and just concentrate on what's going on around you. It allows me, one of the ways to just, for the lack of a better description, free my mind so that I can think more about my writing. This is, I'll usually walk this trail, have music, playing softly in my headphones, and I'll just let my mind wander and think of ideas for stories or try and work through problems on stories, which is what also led me to start doing these recordings, just as a way of talking things out and try and come to some sort of solution with some problems. All right, we're coming up here on the end of the actual paved path. This is usually the path that people who run will take or bikers will take. If you go off to the left there, it will, you can see there's houses and it leads you off to a little residential road. Or you can take this path over to the right, which will bring you up and around to the top of the lake. It's not really a lake, but it's listed as a lake. Yeah, it's a very narrow bridge here, so had to let the people pass first. You can see, like, here's one of the more well-traveled spots. A little muddy there, a lot of ruts. I'm trying to balance the best I can. My balance isn't the best in the world, but at least I made it through without getting my feet too bad. Now, when I started this walk, my shoes were nice and clean, but I can't say that's what they were when I got home. Okay, now this up here, that is the only bathroom in this entire park. There's a little parking lot for cars, but if you need to go potty or something like that, it's that bathroom or nothing else. And as you can see, unless you go well off the path, there's not really any place where you can get any privacy if you just can't hold it. So, and this little path here, it looks like it forks off, but it doesn't really. It just curves back around. And then we get again to the unpaved areas. The whole thing should have pavement, but the city wants to try and keep it as natural as possible. But as you can see, coming up on the path here, it's going to start getting really bad. And again, this is mainly because of all the rain we've had lately. You see the areas, it's sensitive, it's protected. They want you to stay within this little path area that they have made. They don't really want people going off outside of the path because it's, again, they're trying to keep it as natural as possible. They want to give you a chance to travel through the wetlands, the natural habitats of animals, without really disturbing that habitat. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that everybody, follows the recommendation. There are people who, well, you'll see coming up, there's a orange net barrier that somebody decided that, it doesn't apply to them. They took it down and decided to make their own little path. Here's one of the worst turns. This is, you can really see here, it gets muddy, it gets nasty, and I'm trying my best not to get my feet on. See, there you go. Perfect example of how it is after it rains. It's just, the ground gets churned up. This is from people just walking, riding bikes, things like that. It looks bad. It looks nasty. If you go there with white shoes, you will not have white shoes by the time you finish this little trek. I try to keep my shoes clean, just because it's a hassle to try and clean them. But obviously, this path is just, if I didn't want to show you the entire thing, I would have stayed on the pavement, went up to the trailhead, turned around, walked back, and this would have been a lot shorter of a trip. But you can see what I'm talking about, though, with the ground and how churned up it is. Now we're getting to the floating dock that we saw, that first stop that we had, the little outcropping. This is the dock that we saw from over there on the other side of the lake. It's floating on pontoons, or it's got pontoons or poles in the water, but it floats up and down on top of the water. So if the water level changes, the dock will float up and down with it. But this is one of the best places where you can see fish jumping in the evening time in the summer. You'll see ducks out here swimming, geese out here swimming. I've been told that there's a beaver that lives out here. I don't believe it because I've never seen it, and I don't see any evidence of a dam or a lodge that the beaver has built. But again, you can't really tell. There could be a beaver living here. I don't know. I've just never seen it. Okay, you can see the beginnings. There's the orange mesh net that I was telling you about. You can see it's been pulled down from the stake that they had, and somebody decided to just blaze a trail. This is, if it's not a trail that was set up by the Parks Department, they obviously didn't want you going there. But there are people who think that the rules don't apply to them, and they're just going to do whatever it is they feel like it. All right, we're going to take this little offshoot here. I came to this park a long time ago, probably about 30 years ago, and I was amazed to see this little plaque here. I don't know if you can really read it, not really, but it shows the water and the road and things like that. And there are bubbles that come up from the ground, from the road there. The people that travel across that road are applying pressure to all the plant life that's underneath the road that is causing it to decompose and push up methane gas through the water. There are times where you'll see a whole lot of bubbles coming up to the water, and there are other days like today where it's really cold where you don't see a whole lot of the gas. But it's pretty cool to see the effects of decomposition of the natural trees and stuff like that underneath the roadway, and how it's giving off its gas and put it into the atmosphere. All right, crossing the last bridge here, and the last major muddy obstacle. This is what we saw the first time when I showed you the path. We looked down a little bit and showed the muddy path. This is where we're at. Is we're coming back up onto the main pathway again. This section of it was really bad. I almost slipped a few times. My foot slid in and got coated, but here we are back on the asphalt again, and heading back the way I came. Like I said, if on a good day, when the ground is not saturated with rain, it's a good 15-minute leisurely pace from where we started to the floating dock and then back down again and back to where we started. Very nice, very relaxing, but it's a little getaway inside the hustle and bustle of a big city. Yeah, I had a family that walked past there, and I'm trying so hard not to show them. I mean, I don't want people to think that I'm some sort of weird stalker, just filming them, and and then They also I get the police called on me. Some creep is just, videotaping me and blah, blah, blah. And you know how things are. Now, right across the street there is a place called Wilcox Park. Nice little park, great place for picnics when the COVID's not out. And, and then we're back at the lake. Hope you enjoyed. Okay, here we go. These are my shoes after I got back home. You can see how muddy they got, how dirty and nasty, and that's, like I said, they were clean when I started this little trek. And there you go.